Hey guys, how's it going? This right here is the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, which I've been using for a very long time. This is Samsung's latest and the best flagship out there. And while there have been a lot of talks that the price tag is exorbitantly high, I feel that in a very, very weird and a very different kind of sense, the price tag of this phone actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's actually priced pretty accurately and pretty aptly for the market that it's being targeted for. I know that sounds way too crazy, but hear me out. No, seriously, hear the entire review because I'm Varun from Guiding Tech and you're watching my in-depth, long-term review of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. And in this video, we'll just try to unravel why the phone has been priced like this and for who exactly this phone is for. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start off with the design of the phone, which I feel is the most crucial part of the Note 20 Ultra. I mean, to put it in a different word, it feels like it's an ultra premium design. Actually, that sounds like a different variant of Kingfisher beer, so let me rephrase that. It has a very, very premium design that looks worth the money that you're paying for. It's pretty much the best that you can get in an Android smartphone. The flagship experience promises an unmatched design language. The Note 20 Ultra manages to pack in great cameras, a flagship processor, a big battery, even the freaking S Pen, all inside the chassis that feels oh so smooth to hold. It's that premiumness that you pay for. Now that camera bump here is humongous and it's really annoying, but I feel that's the only part that is sort of like an Achilles heel to the design. And even with that camera bump, I still really like the design of this phone. It's super flashy. And okay, now obviously apart from being flashy, it has a glass build so it can break off quite easily. And unlike other brands, Samsung does not offer you a TPU case with the box. And even after all this time, it's been quite hard to find a good case for this phone. But here's my take on this. Don't put a case on this one. Seriously, don't put a case on this one. And I'll tell you why in a bit. But yeah, for now, just understand that for this phone, this design, you do not need to put a case on. Okay, you need to put a case on it, but you should not. I'll get to that why in a bit. The display here is great too. I mean, it's Samsung, so obviously it will be nice. Though to be very frank with you, my OnePlus 8 Pro has the same kind of a display quality. And in fact, the 8 Pro can even do Quad HD at 120Hz. This phone, 120Hz only at Full HD and Quad HD at just 60Hz. Which is kind of weird. I mean, the whole point with going from S20 to Note 20 was that Samsung was using a new LTPO backplane that basically allows for lower temperatures while operating at higher refresh rates. Now that was the technical background of it, but despite having that feature, the Note 20 Ultra cannot do Quad HD at 120Hz. So that's really, really a big bummer. Then there are the cameras, and okay, I have to be very, very frank with you guys. The camera on the Note 20 Ultra, they're one of the best ones out there, no doubt. Literally one of the best ones out there. And there have been cases where the Note 20 Ultra can shoot things that literally no other phone in the market can do, especially with that exceptionally great HDR performance of this phone. But to call it the best camera experience is pushing things a little bit. It's not the best camera experience. Yes, it's one of the best, but definitely not the best by a stretch. I understand if you go to the store, the salesman will tell you that, okay, you're paying this premium, obviously you'll be getting the best cameras. You won't. Trust me, you won't. I recently did a camera comparison of the 8 Pro with the S20 series, and the camera from the S20 series and the Note 20 Ultra is more or less the same in terms of overall output. And to be honest, with the 8 Pro, I have been using the 8 Pro as my daily driver alongside this as well. I have to say, in more or less situations, the 8 Pro manages to keep up with the Note 20 Ultra and even manages to outperform it, especially when clicking pictures of human subjects. So it's don't be fooled into thinking that, okay, if I'm paying a premium, I will be getting the best camera quality. You'll be getting one of the best camera qualities out there, but it's not the best. Please keep that in mind. Please don't be fooled by marketing strategies, because numbers after a point do not really matter that much. The overall output matters, and the output that the Note 20 Ultra offers is great, but it can be achieved by other phones as well, specifically the OnePlus 8 Pro or even the Mi 10. And one more advantage that both of those phones, like the OnePlus 8 Pro and the Mi 10 have, is that you also get Gcam compatibility. Like, you have some of the best ports available for OnePlus 8 Pro and Mi 10, and both of those phones really have pixel-like quality when it comes to like proper photography. And well, with the Note 20 Ultra, even the Snapdragon variant does not get a lot of Gcam development. With the Exynos, just forget about it. There's no Gcam for Exynos variants. And yeah, I mean, the whole point is that cameras are good, but don't just fall for it being the best because you're just paying a premium. Now, another thing that you should not expect from the Note 20 Ultra is top-notch performance. See this asterisk right here? Well, yeah, what I basically mean to say is don't expect top-notch performance from the Exynos variant. See, we've been down this road a lot of times, and while some people continue to blame One UI for it, I'm sorry, but I have to say this. Exynos, it may be Samsung's flagship processor, but it's not a flagship processor out there. Like, trust me, it's not a flagship processor. This phone hangs a lot, like with very, very basic tasks like using WhatsApp, opening the gallery, sending mails, going through various different apps. Like, I use OneFootball a lot. It just stutters during the different UI elements. There's so many things wrong with this phone in terms of the performance. So yeah, that is one more factor that you need to keep in mind, because if you look at the numbers that Samsung showcases, technically the processor runs at a faster clock speed than the Snapdragon 855 or the 865. In reality, not good. Even the Snapdragon 855 and the 855 Plus perform better than this. And I'm using the OnePlus 8 Pro with an 865 processor. Now, I haven't had a chance to try out the 865 variant of the Note 20 Ultra, and while I'm not saying that would be perfect, I'm sure it would have some issues of its own because One UI isn't perfect. But at the same time, I feel safe and confident in saying that the Snapdragon variant would be better than the Note 20 Ultra. In fact, JellyRig Everything recently did a video comparing the Snapdragon and the Exynos variants, and you can check that out as well to see a more thorough comparison between two variants. Also, while we're on the topic of Snapdragon, here's my thought. While people continue to blame One UI, I've personally used the Galaxy M51 and the Samsung Galaxy A71. Both of the phones that come with One UI, but just use a mid-range Snapdragon 730G processor. And I haven't faced any of those issues on that processor. So while shooting this video, I was also resetting the phone before giving it to my editor. And here's the funny part. My phone literally took 4 minutes, 31 seconds to reset. And another 15 seconds to go to that Let's Go page where you select the language. Like 15 seconds from going from starting Android to Let's Go. 4 minutes, 30 seconds to reset on a flagship processor, on a flagship phone that costs you 1,05,000. I mean, I just want to slam this thing right now, but I don't have that much money. But seriously, this is like unacceptable behavior. Now moving along, any review about the Note 20 Ultra or basically any Samsung Galaxy Note device would be incomplete without talking about this S Pen. See, I'll just keep things short and simple. The S Pen is great. It works very well, comes in really handy in the situations where you require it, and the low latency definitely makes it feel like you're using an actual physical pen and paper. So that's all good. In fact, I've already done a video talking about the best tips and tricks for the Note 20 Ultra along with different features of the S Pen. So make sure to check that out from the link in the description box or from a card here. So yeah, the S Pen is good, it's great, but it's not for everyone. Trust me on that, it's not for everyone. Lastly, there's the battery life, and once again, Exynos isn't a battery champion. Like, I've been getting around 5 hours of screen on time, and I've been getting through an entire day of usage with the phone, but that is not to say that I've been having the best of experience. Apart from the lags and everything, I've had to use it with some sort of restrictions. Like, I cannot really push the device to its limit because I know it won't offer me that great of a battery life. I mean, yeah, right now we're all working from home, so it doesn't really make a difference. But yeah, if I was going out regularly, I would probably be switching down to a low resolution with a lower refresh rate to get the best battery backup out there. Also, the 25 watt fast charging that comes with the Note 20 Ultra is, well, it's good. Now, I personally have been spoiled for choice by Realme's 65 watt, so much so that even my OnePlus 8 Pro does not satisfy my needs for great fast charging speeds. But then again, the 25 watt charge is great. I mean, I don't have any major complaints with it. Plus, the fact that it is USB PD makes it a little more convenient. Okay, so down to the price. 1,05,000 for this phone. You just heard me rant about this phone, about how this is not exactly a flagship phone. So why is the title of this video, and why did I begin this video by talking about how it's been priced right? Well, think about it. When you imagine a consumer buying the Note 20 Ultra, what kind of a person you imagine? Someone who's very rich, who has a lot of money, who desperately needs the S Pen and wants a device to show off. See, if you want a flagship phone that is adequately priced, go for either OnePlus 8 Pro or the Oppo Find X2 Pro. Those are the phones that you should be looking for if you are really concerned about your price tags. This phone is not for that. The Note 20 Ultra is essentially a flaunting device. The performance it's not the best out there. The cameras are not the best out there. The design is the best out there. In terms of Android at least. And to be honest, personally, I think the design is better than iPhones as well. So yeah, the design is one of the best. It's the best in terms of smartphones that you can buy right now, apart from foldables. The S Pen is another feature that it's a very, very niche thing. Like, even designers would prefer using S Pen on the Galaxy Tab S7, not on this phone. Like, it does not make a lot of sense. Yes, it's handy, it works very well. And while Samsung says that, students can use it to take notes and designers can use it to like make designs and stuff like that, it's not that practical. People don't use it that much. I know a lot of guys who bought the Note 20 series just because, not Note 20, but they bought the Note series just to use the S Pen, and they haven't been using it. They just say that, okay, yeah, we bought it, but at the end of the day, it's just something that you meet a couple of folks and you're like, you know what my phone can do? It has this S Pen. And you know what I can do? If I'm on the lock screen and just take it out and take notes, I can just draw something and some stuff like that. How many times do you actually use it? Not a lot. And that's what the whole point of this phone is. It is something that you flaunt. It's like when you buy an iPhone, would you really be buying an iPhone if it did not come with that Apple sticker? You won't. A lot of people won't because they want an iPhone to flaunt, to show off. This is a phone that you can flaunt. This is a phone that you can show that you have deep pockets, that you are rich, like you're some executive or a CEO or someone like that. And you can just show off that, yeah, I have a lot of money. It's for people who want to flaunt their device. And for that, a price tag of 1,05,000 makes a lot of sense. And well, that was my take on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. If you agree with my thoughts, make sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and commenting down below with what your take on the Note 20 Ultra is. Trust me, I would love to have a chat with our community and see what they think of this device and whether you feel that maybe I'm just being a little too critical and maybe the device makes a lot of sense for a lot of users, or am I being right in saying that this is overpriced for a lot of users, but for the right consumer, it's just perfectly priced? Let me know in the comments below. Till then, this is Varun from Guiding Tech, and I'll see you in the next one.